Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Bill. Yeah, only a little CPAP head this morning. It's Monday morning. It is. What the hell day is it? It's Monday. Let's see what the date is. Monday, the 15th of August, 2016. This year has flown by. I apologize that I'm looking a little scruffy this morning. I really shouldn't be, but I am. And I apologize that this message is going to be sort of brief, especially for me, because y'all know how I like to talk. But it is. Over the weekend, I heard a news report about police engaging an armed suspect. Well, let's not be politically correct on this, okay? Police engaged a criminal with a gun, and he was shooting at them, and they shot and killed him. Okay, so evidently there were riots because this guy got shot. 2 or 3 stores got burned. You know, a police car got burned. People were breaking shit and screaming and hollering because an armed criminal with a gun got shot by the police that he was shooting at. Come on, people, what the hell? Why the hell riot? Okay? Why? Look, guys walking down the street, like, remember when we were told about Mr. Brown, the gentle giant? The story was, all right, he was walking down the street minding his own business, and this cop drove up and shot him. At first, everybody's like, oh my God. But then we found out that that was not the case. That none of that story was true. That they were actually looking for him from a previous crime. The guy had a record. The guy climbed or reached in the window of the cop car and tried to grab the cop's gun, and the cop shot him. Would you do any different? What if the cop would have just put the gas, mashed on the gas, and drove off, and the guy had been dragging on the side of the car like in the movies, and then he fell off and he rolled around and broke his neck and died? Would it have been the cop's fault? Or would it have been his fault for climbing through the window and engaging, or reaching into the car and engaging an officer? Okay, if the first story was true, then I could see outrage and stuff. But I challenge any one of you people out there to give me one good reason for rioting at the death of an armed criminal. Yeah, that's what I thought. There is no good reason. People talk about cops doing this. Now, I'm not going to say that cops are great, cops are good. Cops are great, cops are good. Cops left us every day because they save our hood. My baby sister was a cop for 20 odd years. I know cops have to put up with some shit. I also know that my baby sister never abused her powers as a police officer. She never abused her authority. She never took advantage of the fact that she was a police officer. And she never harassed anybody. Because I've actually been on ride-alongs with her, watching what she's done. So, okay, let's get back to the point. Because I did say I was going to make this brief. People, if you don't want to get shot by a cop, don't shoot at them. Because you're just as likely to shoot at me, and I'll guarantee you I'm going to shoot back. Wouldn't you? If I shot at you, if you're hollering at me to stop doing something bad or stop doing something wrong. Or in the case of a law enforcement officer where, there's possibly a warrant out for the suspect or a call that you're responding to, you got to remember they're going into this thing with only the very minimal amount of information. They have seconds sometimes to make a decision. Sometimes they don't even have that. They have to look at the situation, assess it, and then react. So, if you put yourself in that position and I shoot at you, are you going to shoot back at me? Are you going to try and shoot me to make me stop shooting you? Right there, buddy. I'll stop shooting you. Right there, I'll stop shooting you. Most handguns aren't that accurate, not from any lengthy distance. So, you this big area that you could possibly hit, whatever. If you don't want to get shot by a cop, don't shoot at him. If you don't want to get stopped by a cop, don't break the law. If you do get stopped by a cop, be polite. Yes, sir. No, sir. I don't care if you hate police officers. If you say yes, sir, no, sir, and you're compliant, even if the cop is in the wrong, you're doing the right thing. And you're probably not going to get shot. Let's go one little bit further on that. Okay, if a cop stops you and they're in the wrong, there are legal remedies for that. Unlawful arrest. What is I forget something in detainment. I forget what the terminology is, but they're there. I mean, literally, you go in there and yes, sir, here's my wallet. Please feel free to look. I have nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything wrong. I understand you're trying to do your job, and that's fine. Do what you got to do. If they illegally arrest you or improperly arrest you, you have legal recourse against the entire department. But then you got to remember, I have not, and I'm sure this applies to many of you folks out there, I have not been questioned by a cop in years and years and years. And the last time I was questioned, it was about making a video for a cop from one of my customers who had been broken into. And we took the security camera footage and put it on a disc for the police officers for their investigation. And the reason is because I don't do illegal shit. I don't put myself in situations to do illegal shit. I think about what I'm doing before I do it. You guys can too. I don't care if you're 16 or 60. You never, ever, ever have to be confronted by a police officer. You never, ever, ever have to be shot by a police officer. You never, ever have to be arrested by a police officer. As long as the way you live your life and the way you conduct your daily business is not in violation of or suspect in the eyes of the law. Now, that's all about you. Now we're going to talk about the cops. Cops get a lot of shit. After about, I think the one thing I read was after about 5 years, a cop becomes calloused to situations. Like a brand new cop, oh dude, I'm so sorry, I wasn't paying attention, blah, 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 5 years, 6 years, 7, 8 years, 10 years down the road, how many times do you think that cop's heard that? Oh, please, officer, can you give me a break? I really insert excuse here. Okay? How many times do you think that cop's heard that? Sometimes the cops get callous. Sometimes a cop will, because of his previous dealings with people, not weigh your statement in the same manner that he would have done when he was new. And he was still open to, the possibility that not all people are douchebags, because 99% of the people he's been dealing with for the past 10 years are. Cops don't interact with me and you. okay, on a regular basis. We might see them in the store, say hi, wave at them on the street or whatever. But you got to remember, cops don't interact with people like you and I. People who go to work, do their job, do their stuff, come home. They, quote unquote, law abiding citizens. Cops don't deal with us, okay? And the reason they don't deal with us is because we're not on their radar. We're not on their radar because we're not doing stuff that would put us there. Now, everybody's got to be their own person, okay? But when you go to look into this, why don't you for a second put yourself into the police officer's situation? You come into an unknown situation with little or no information, okay? You don't even know for sure if the information you've been given is correct. And a guy aims a gun at your face. What are you going to do? Okay, well, rioting and all that's certainly not the answer. Because that does nothing. That just seems like you're making an excuse out of somebody else's problem to do shit for yourself. Rioting, looting, burning, destroying. Did any... Let's just go this far. Did the coffee shop or the auto parts store, and I forget what the other one was that got put on fire, were those owned by the officer that shot the kid? Probably not. So why did those rioters decide to do that? Because it has absolutely nothing to do with that kid. Anyway, think about that. Y'all have a wonderful day. Try to earn my keep. Fat bald headed guy with the semi-CPAP head. See ya.